you know that everything you think about our solar system is probably a lie? Particularly about the scale of our solar system. In other words, how far apart are all the planets from each other? Well, what I have behind me is a scale model of our solar system, and we have the sun on the left side, and we have Pluto on the far right. And so this actual distance in real life, I measured it, it is 2.6 meters. So this is a meter stick. It's a little bit longer than 2.5 of these, okay? And so our job today is to try to figure out, where do all the rest of the planets go between the sun and Pluto? So what do we have left? We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And we're also gonna try to figure out, where does the asteroid belt go? So remember, the asteroid belt is just a bunch of little rocks that are orbiting between Mars and Jupiter, okay? So where do all of those objects fit on this scale? And we're gonna start right here at the halfway point. So what planet, and I will give you a hint, it is a planet, what planet is situated about halfway between the sun and Pluto? Take a moment to see if you can come up with an answer. What does your gut instinct tell you? What's at the halfway point? Well, guess what? The answer is planet Uranus. So I'm gonna write Uranus right here, put a big dot there. And this is the planet that is halfway between the sun and Pluto. And that might be very shocking for a lot of people, because Uranus is the third to furthest planet, right? We have Pluto, Neptune, Uranus. So that means there's a whole bunch of planets that are all occupying this first half. We still have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So 6 more planets are all less than halfway to the distance of Pluto. That's crazy. Okay, so we know that Neptune has to be somewhere on this right half. So it's somewhere between Uranus and Pluto. So I want you to think about it, maybe come up with an answer in your head. I'm just gonna start tracing my pen from left to right. Think about where you think planet Neptune is located. So here we go. So here's Uranus. I'm moving this way. We're going further. This is the 3/4 mark. Now we're getting further out, further out, further out, and there's Pluto. So where does Neptune go in this path? Its average distance from the sun is actually pretty much right here at the 3/4 mark. So this is Neptune. And so Neptune is 3/4 of the way to Pluto. And Uranus is only halfway to Pluto. So now we have to figure out, where are all the other planets? Well, what do you think goes at the 1/4 distance? So think about everything that's left. We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, the asteroid belt, Jupiter, and Saturn. All of that stuff's in here somewhere. What do you think is going to be halfway to Uranus, or 1/4 of the distance to Pluto? What goes right here? Well, what do you think? The answer is actually Saturn. Might be surprising that Saturn is actually just halfway to Uranus. And that means there's no other planets out here. This is all just empty space. And we're still missing a lot of stuff. We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and the asteroid belt. So all 6 of those items are in the first quarter distance out to Pluto. It's all here. So already you're probably starting to wonder, how could we all be so off, right? These textbook images are making everything look so close, but in reality, most of this is just empty space, and the vast majority of objects in our solar system are in this first 1/4, okay? So now what do we think? So how about this 1/8 mark? What do you think is 1/8 of the distance out to Pluto? Or another way of asking that is, what do you think is exactly halfway to Saturn, or roughly halfway to Saturn? What's gonna go right here? You're gonna be shocked, but this is actually where Jupiter is. So planet Jupiter goes right here, right? The next planet from Saturn is only half the distance to Saturn. But wait a minute, we're still missing Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. All of that stuff is in this first 1/8. And the rest of the solar system only has these 3 planets: Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And technically Pluto, but you know, today people don't really call Pluto a planet anymore. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but we're including it. So Pluto's way out here. Okay, so now let's look at the 1/16 mark, or in other words, what is halfway to Jupiter? What is right here? So what do we think? We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. What's gonna go here? You might be shocked to hear this, but it's actually the asteroid belt. So the asteroid belt is here. That's asteroid belt. And so all these rocks are orbiting the sun, and that means all the other remaining planets are actually in this first 1/16th distance. So there's so much left. We're still missing Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And all of that is going to come right in this region here. All right, then what goes halfway to the asteroid belt? So if you could imagine a little dash right here, the halfway mark, what object do you think might go at the halfway point to the asteroid belt? And it turns out that if you were to take your finger and just lay it over that mark there, just to the right of that would be Mars, and just to the left would be Earth. So Earth and Mars, they sort of just straddle the halfway mark out to the asteroid belt. So if I were to draw that as a dashed line, it comes up like this. And so now we have this like really, really tiny zone where Mercury and Venus are going to be located. So now if we were to draw another dashed line, that's exactly halfway to the one that has Earth and Mars around it, basically Mercury and Venus are going to be just to the either side of that line. So we're going to have Mercury here and Venus here. That's Mercury and that's Venus. And it's very hard to see at this point because we have like 4 planets that are almost all concentrated in that first like tiny, tiny part of the solar system. And then we have the asteroid belt, then we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. So really, there's just a lot going on right here. And probably the vast majority of people would have imagined, if I asked you to space these out yourself, maybe, people would put Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and they tend to space them out evenly. And that's just because of all the images of the solar system that we've seen have led us to believe that the scale is way different than it actually is. Now